Counter-terror police investigate a deadly taxi explosion outside Liverpool Women's Hospital.
With Lucrezia Millarini.
Good evening. Counter-terror police are investigating after one person died and another was seriously injured following a car explosion outside Liverpool Women's Hospital. It happened just before 11 o'clock this morning as the car, a taxi, pulled up outside the hospital. Merseyside police say they are keeping an open mind as to what caused the explosion, but have not ruled out terrorism. We'll be live in Liverpool after our first report from Dan Rivers, which begins with footage shot in the aftermath of the explosion. The Queen was forced to pull out of her first public appearance for weeks today with a new health problem. She had been due to watch the remembrance service at the cenotaph, but withdrew this morning with a bad back. Buckingham Palace insisted her latest setback was unrelated to the issue, which led her to spend a night in hospital last month. And tonight, the Prime Minister said she had been very well when he saw her last week. Well, our royal editor, Chris Shipp, has the details. Well, the Queen made it clear that she did not want her absence from the cenotaph to detract from today's remembrance events. Although she couldn't attend, thousands of others were able to take part for the first time in 2 years. COVID restrictions kept them away last year, and as Martha Fairley reports, it made today's events around the country even more poignant. Oh, apologies, we seem to be having some problems with that report. Let's go to our next story for the moment. And the Prime Minister has been defending the climate change deal agreed at the close of talks in Glasgow. Boris Johnson told journalists at a Downing Street press conference tonight that although the deal was game-changing, there was still a long journey ahead of us. Our political correspondent, Romilly Weeks, was... Other news now, Poland has asked NATO to step in and resolve the migrant crisis on its border with Belarus. Poland accused Belarus. ITV News understands that a large stretch of the HS2 rail line between Birmingham and Leeds will no longer be built. Instead, the government is to spend money on other lines in the Midlands and Northern England. The plans will be formally announced later this week, as Sam Holder explains. Bit of sport. Australia have won cricket's 2020 World Cup. And let's finish by returning to today's remembrance events. As we mentioned earlier, thousands of people were able to take part for the first time in 2 years after COVID restrictions kept them away 12 months ago. And as Martha Fairley reports, it made today's events around the country even more poignant. And that is it. I'm back just after 10. Until then, bye-bye.